It's been almost 2 years since I turned on monetization back in late 2016 when I moved to Portugal. And a couple of things have changed since then. My number of subscribers grew, my viewer rate grew, kind of a little bit inconsistently, but it did grow, sort of. I mean, Part of the reason why the growth has been a little bit inconsistent was actually my fault because I tend to upload videos that no one really cares about. And in terms of how much money I earned, it's kind of complicated because, since my channel is pretty small and it was even smaller a couple of years ago, just around like a year ago or two, less than 2 years ago. But the point is, like months back, it was much smaller than now. And yeah, when you're a small channel, you barely get paid. Like you don't get paid at all. And which is kind of funny because every time I tell like one of my friends or family members or whatever, whenever I tell them that I do have a YouTube page, one of their first questions is, "Do you make money?" And I always say no because it's the truth. I accumulate money, but I almost never get paid. I've only I've only received two payments since 2016, and both payments were this year. The first one was, I think it was around February, or I think it was either February or March, maybe February. And the last payment was, I think, 2 months ago. I don't get paid that much, even though, I mean, I would want to get paid more because, I mean, I do YouTube. I do YouTube for fun because I think making YouTube videos is pretty fun. I've always had a passion for YouTube ever since, I don't know, maybe 2011. Fucking knows. And yeah, and while yeah, I've always wanted to make videos. Technically, I've always wanted to be an entertainer. That's what I've always wanted to be ever since I've been exposed to any sort of entertainment. I would always see a form of entertainment, either music or television show or movie or whatever. And I would always like, yeah, this shit inspires me. I wish I could replicate what these guys do. It's so cool and whatever. And yeah, YouTube's one of them. And YouTube's one of the most recent ones. And I guess it's easier to want to replicate what content creators on YouTube I like do because it's easier to do that. I mean, YouTube has always been a platform for amateurs. Pretty much anyone can be a YouTuber and get big. That's kind of the foundation of the website, and now it's evolving, and creators are getting better, and the bar is rising up, which I think it's good. I think it's good that that's happening, sort of. Some people would argue that it's not. I think it is. I think it's okay for the platform to evolve, and just kind of how life is. Because the more YouTube gains popularity, the bigger the demand will be, and I think it's important for the content creators to push the boundaries of what they can do with this platform, and that means evolving to some extent. And one of the things that I wouldn't say forces, but I guess you can say force, but it's not really the word I'm looking for. Like one of the things that forces them to up their game and evolve is the monetary gain. Like when YouTube first started, it was a bunch of amateurs and all of them were cheap. A lot of YouTubers are cheap, but it was even worse back then. And like yeah, as the platform, I guess content creators here grow in terms of popularity, some of them will also grow financially. And yeah, I think it's important for them to use the money they earn to better themselves, update their equipment, make things better overall in terms of quality. And yeah, I've always liked the fact that you can earn money here on YouTube. And when I moved to Portugal, because unfortunately my native country, they don't have monetization, which sucks ass. When I moved in Portugal, one of the first things I did was turn on monetization. Back then, I earned like a couple of cents. I barely earned anything back then, which deservingly, like, let's be clear, like, for starters, my videos were not good at all, and also my videos were like cheap as fuck. Not surprising anyway. And I guess also one of the consequences of the platform gaining more popularity is that people are gonna treat it more like a job, and some people do treat it like a job, and it does kind of put in question whether or not it's good that this is happening, because like I said, YouTube has always been a home for amateurs. That's always been the foundation of the platform, and whenever, like, when you start to take it as a job, it becomes less of a place for amateurs and more like a place for professionals. And when that happens, like, part of the appeal and spirit of the website just kind of goes away. And it's one of the reasons why I can sort of empathize with people who refuse to see this website as a place to get a job, because that was never the point of the website. You know what I'm saying? But personally, when it comes to jobs, I have a somewhat different mindset, because, quite frankly, I don't care how people make money. I don't care if someone makes money by doing the stupidest thing ever, or like the most unconventional way possible. I don't care if someone gains money despite, despite not, I don't know, graduating, or, you know, having a quote unquote real job. I don't care. Like, for me, jobs are, like, they're just methods of, like, it's just a method of people, like, surviving. It's just a method of people surviving. It's a way for people to earn money so that they can buy food, buy whatever the fuck they want, and survive on this planet. It's a form of sustainability, and that's all job really is. And I don't really give much power to the idea of a job, aside from the fact that it gives people money. And I do value that aspect of having a job, which is why I do want to have a job. But I don't care what that job is, unless it's a job I outright despise. Like, if I hate a job, I don't know if I could be able to tolerate it, unless there's no option. But if there is an option, but that job is less conventional and quote unquote less of a real job, then I wouldn't care. Because honestly, I don't think anyone should care. I think people should try to maximize their happiness and satisfaction, and I don't think people need to restrain themselves in this idea that we need to have a certain type of lifestyle, even if there are other alternatives, and those alternatives might even give more benefit. But because it's an alternative and not the right way, what some people would define, then it's sort of frowned upon. But personally, I don't care. I don't think that matters. I don't think that should matter. However, I don't think I want YouTube to be my job. I mean, that would be cool. It would actually be cool if, I mean, I'm going to say this, like, this is never going to happen, especially given how I'm in the cartoon community, one of the small, well, depends on how you define small. I mean, small in terms of how many subscribers and views you can get by joining this community, because it's not fair to say the cartoon community is small, because there are a lot of creators and members here. It's just that there are not a lot of, it's just not a very strong market. I guess you can say that in terms of marketability, it is a small community, but I don't think that the people that are members of the cartoon community is all that small. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think that's something that's easy to measure, but whatever. And like, yeah, it's not a very profitable community. I mean, you can profit off joining this community, but compared to other communities, I think you're better off joining others. Like just look at any other community on YouTube, and you can tell that those ones have better potential for views. And yeah, that's that. And the other reason why I don't see myself taking YouTube as a job is that I'm not sure YouTube is the type of job I want. Even though I made that whole point about having conventional and unconventional jobs, I don't think YouTube is the type of job I want. It's a type of job I would accept because I like making videos, but in terms of my future and how reliable this job is, it's very weak. Like YouTube, being a YouTuber is quite honestly one of the most unreliable positions you could ever take if you want to sustain yourself financially. It's really not. Like, there's no security, there are no guarantees. You don't receive any support from the website. The website does not give a fuck about you if you're not giving them what they want. And part of being an artist is, I mean, I guess some people wouldn't consider YouTube videos to be art forms, whatever. For me it's the same. For me it is, but whatever. It depends on what your definition of art. But yeah, I think every artist every artist needs to express themselves in whatever the way they want, and expressing yourself on YouTube it's just not it's perhaps like, I don't know how to explain. It's a good way of making the best content you could possibly make if you have the right inspiration and you express yourself in a way where it benefits you and you can actually get some entertainment value out of it. But in terms of satisfying the algorithm and whatever, you need to be very careful with how you choose to make your videos. And I'm not that type of person. I am not the type of person who would just conform to a certain type of video in order to gain views. I make whatever video I want. And like I just don't picture myself being a part of the system. I don't want to do that. And even if I do that, there's no guarantee that I'll have a reliable job. Like, there's no guarantee that even if you become like the most vapid, unoriginal, uninspired, just corporate garbage channel. Oh god, I just insulted a lot of people who if you're subscribed to me, you're probably used to this. If I become this type of channel, like, there's no guarantee that I'll get popular. I can still like be just down like one of the least popular channels out there. And do I really want to do that? Do I really want to sacrifice my passion for this website just to surrender to these forms and like these tactics used by shitty YouTubers to pander to their audiences, just so I can have like a sort of reliable income every month, sort of? I don't want to do that. And even in the off chance that my channel grows doing whatever I want and I gain a decent audience and the amount of views I get each month is enough to receive a decent payment, that would be cool. And as a matter of fact, I wish I could reach that far. I really do wish that I would reach a point where my channel gets big enough that I would get a decent amount each month, even like compared to a normal salary, even minimum wage. I would be really happy. Like, that's the coolest thing I could ever do. Like, I'm gaining money doing what I want. But my problem is that that's not a very, like, I can't trust YouTube. I don't trust YouTube. I don't trust anything about YouTube. Even if I reach that point, there's no guarantee that I will remain like that forever. And thinking about my future, I don't want to place these bets. What I really want is to have a secure job. And I want to have like a secure income, gain a certain amount of money each month that I can trust I'll gain this much money for, not forever, but for a decent, like for a long time, until my contract ends. Maybe I can renew, maybe I won't, maybe I'll get another job, but whatever. I want to have that lifestyle. And YouTube, like, even if you can live that lifestyle, it's not hard, and you can't trust YouTube because one day you might lose that lifestyle. And it's not unlikely. It's really like, just look at animators. Ever since they changed the algorithm back in maybe 2013, I don't know, after that whole you know what I'm talking about. You all watch MatPat's video or whatever video you watch that explain all of this. Like, yeah, animators were fucked, and now they can't use, like, YouTube is just not a reliable platform for them anymore. They have to use other methods. They have Patreon, and you know what? I I mean, Patreon is kind of tricky because it really depends on your audience. Which, don't get me wrong, I think that's a pretty fair. I think that's a pretty fair business model. I like Patreon's business model, and I don't really begrudge Patreon. To be honest, I'm not even sure I begrudge YouTube. I just don't trust any of them. Because, yeah, I mean, I trust my potential patrons more than I trust YouTube. Because, if they're paying me each month and they're my fans, I think I have enough reason to trust them. But one day, something might happen. They might not have enough money. Maybe they stop being my fan. They don't want to pay me anymore. That could happen. Again, I trust them a lot more than YouTube, but that could still happen. And even then, the amount of money I earn on Patreon might not be enough. But yeah, it's like I said, same, more or less the same thing. And like, yeah, I don't really want that. I want to earn money on YouTube. I just don't necessarily want it to be a job. Not because I think it's a bad idea to have it as a job, because I think it is possible to have it as a job. It's just not the type of job I necessarily want. I guess that's kind of all I have to say regarding YouTube and money. And yeah.